This is a stimulus update and daily news report. The expiration of the federal unemployment boost paying $300 per week is expiring September 6th, just about a month away, and 7.5 million people are about to fall off of that unemployment cliff. I'll give you the latest details on unemployment, and the Biden administration has canceled $1.5 billion in student loans so far. I'll give you the latest on student loan forgiveness, and this article just came out right before filming this video. Stimulus check update, success of COVID-19 stimulus check prompts bill to authorize ongoing payments. I'll give you the details on that. Plus, the infrastructure bill text has been released, and it looks like $1 billion is going to Joe Manchin's wife's commission. We're going to break that down, plus some other red flags with the bipartisan infrastructure package, give you some other updates, play some video clips, and then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. If you appreciate these fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So Florida and Texas had 1/3 of all U.S. COVID cases in the past week, and it looks like, according to the Florida Governor DeSantis, he is not planning on having any lockdowns, and the U.S. is not planning on having any lockdowns anytime soon. Senator Lindsey Graham tests positive for COVID-19 despite being fully vaccinated, saying that his symptoms are barely anything, but it would be far worse if he hadn't gotten vaccinated. And in New York City, they are requiring proof of vaccination for indoor dining, theaters, and gyms. So this is the vaccine passport that is going on in New York City, and this is going to start on September 13th, according to New York City Mayor de Blasio. So looks like that's what's going on. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Are things getting a lot worse, or is the media hyping it up too much? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Next, let's talk about how there's an unemployment cliff coming. More than 7.5 million may fall off. So what's going on here? Federal unemployment programs that have paid jobless benefits since March 2020 are poised to end September 6th. It doesn't appear Congress will extend them again, and roughly 7.5 million people will lose their benefits entirely at that time. And then those eligible to collect state unemployment insurance may continue to receive weekly payments past Labor Day. They would get $300 less per week. So this is the federal $300 per week unemployment program, which is ending September 6th. But if you are on unemployment, you can still receive state unemployment according to your state's guidelines. So with this cliff going on, looks like this is it right here. Well, this is the unemployment rate before the pandemic, and obviously here we're still not at pre-pandemic levels, which was around 3.5%. And it looks like with the Delta variant rising, a lot more people are calling for unemployment benefits to happen. As we see here, the Delta variant has unemployed Americans begging for more help. DC isn't doing anything. There are some Democrats who are calling for the unemployment to be extended. So far, the White House or anyone has said that it is not going to be extended so far. But we still have another month. A lot could change between then and now, as it has in the past month. We didn't think that we were going to have mask mandates, vaccine mandates, but look where we're at now because of the Delta variant. Also, this article came out just before I was filming the video. Stimulus check update. Success of COVID-19 stimulus checks prompts bill to authorize ongoing payments. So let me break this down for you. Coronavirus stimulus checks issued in 2020 and 2021 had an undeniable impact on American families. They helped to keep people out of poverty during an economically challenging time, and in fact, they actually helped increase household income above pre-pandemic levels for some individuals and families. Since depositing money directly into people's bank accounts proved to be both popular and successful at reducing poverty, some lawmakers are now calling for more monthly payments to be issued. In fact, Friday, July 30th, this past Friday, Representative Ilhan Omar introduced a bill called the Sending Unconditional Payments to People Overcoming Resistance to Triumph, also known as the Support Act, that would provide payments of $1,200 per month per adult and $600 per child. This money would be offered on an ongoing basis as opposed to the one-time payments made available in each of these three coronavirus relief bills. So the way that this bill works, I spoke about this a few days ago, it's going to give $1,200 for any U.S. resident over 18, $600 for child dependents. And I get the question a lot, are people on Social Security included on this? Yes, so it says all residents over the age of 18. So I'm assuming as long as you have a social security number, you probably get this, same as you did with the other stimulus checks. The payments would be phasing out once income hits $75,000 for single taxpayers, $150,000 for married or joint filers, and $112,000 for heads of household. So it looks like this program is introduced in the Congress, has not been voted on yet. The House, actually, Representative Ilhan Omar introduced this the day that the House was going on the 6-week vacation. So we're not going to hear more about this for a while, but I will keep my eye on it unless any new news comes out on it. Next, let's talk about how Biden administration has canceled $1.5 billion in student loan debt so far. Who could benefit next? So this $1.5 billion isn't the $10,000 of student loan cancellation that President Biden campaigned on, or part of the $50,000 that a lot of the other Senate Democrats are calling for. This is something totally different. This is defrauded student loan borrowers that got frauded by certain colleges. So some of the colleges, if you went to any of these colleges, you could get your student loans forgiven as well. American Career Institute, Court Reporting Institute, Corinthian Colleges, ITT Technical Institute, Maranello Schools of Beauty, Westwood College. So those are the ones where if you went to any of those colleges, $1.5 billion of student loans have been forgiven and can still be forgiven if you fall under those guidelines. Now, when it comes to student loans in general, the break for student loan borrowers ends next month. How to be prepared? So, the student loan federal student loans pause as well as interest non-accrual is going to end September 30th. So it looks like that is not going to be extended as well, even though Democrat senators are calling for that to be extended. At this point, we haven't heard any new news on that. When it comes to student loan forgiveness in general, a lot of Democrat senators are calling for $50,000 in student loan forgiveness to be done through executive order by President Biden. But Nancy Pelosi says that Biden doesn't have the power to cancel student loan debt. So she said this the day after Chuck Schumer had another one of his rallies or another one of his press conferences calling for student loan debt to be forgiven, $50,000. Nancy Pelosi said this the next day, and I haven't heard any clarity on it from either Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren, a lot of the people who are calling for the $50,000 in student loan debt. Nancy Pelosi says it cannot be done by the president, but yet I haven't heard a rebuttal from any of the other Democrat senators. So I'm really curious about that. These are career politicians kind of going against each other in terms of ideology, and they're on the same team too. Next, let's talk about infrastructure, what's going on there. So here's what comes next for the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. So what's happening now is the Senate needs to vote on amendments to the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill, and the senators' objection to its swift approval could hold it up for days. So they are still negotiating. The bill text is out. They're not having the vote yet. Chuck Schumer hopes to pass both the infrastructure plan and start the process of passing a separate Democrat spending plan before the chamber leaves for its recess next week. August 6th is the last day for the Senate to be in session, for them to actually have a vote, which is three days away, 3 business days, or 3 days in general away, and the House is not expected to come back to Washington until September 20th. Chuck Schumer said that he is planning to work through the recess to get this done. We haven't heard anything about the House of Representatives coming back from their vacation to have this vote, but nothing is still ready yet to vote. This is the actual bill right here. So this is 2,700 pages of legal jargon, and there are starting to come some red flags from this. As this bill text came out yesterday, that more and more people are starting to see some things in there that are not completely kosher. So, for example, infrastructure bill includes $1 billion for commission run by Manchin's wife. Now, this is Joe Manchin's wife runs a commission, the Appalachian co-chairs the Appalachian Regional Commission. So far this isn't shady money, but there is, an interesting connection there. That $1 billion is going to Joe Manchin's wife's commission. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Is this shady or is this business as usual? Here is a video clip from a Republican senator talking about some other red flags with the infrastructure bill.
After months of wrangling, senators finally approving that $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. Now they're setting it up. They hope it passes this week. Joining me now, North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer. Senator, it clocks in at nearly 3,000 pages. I assume your office is going through this as well as they can. Anything stand out to you immediately as a red flag?
No, Charles, not at this point. We are going through it line by line, of course, but remembering too that I'm the ranking member on the Environment and Public Works Subcommittee for Transportation and Infrastructure. So the base of the bill has largely passed through a committee process. It passed unanimously a couple of months ago, and there are other things, water provision, other provisions that have actually been legislative language for a long time. So we're really at this point we're doing exactly what you talked about, looking for the red flags. Where are the areas of concern? Where might there be mischief? Does the written language actually, coincide with the themes that were passed when we voted to proceed to the measure? And so there are probably some offices that have, a little less, intimate knowledge than ours, but it does allow us to focus on the specific pages of the 3,000 that are the most concerning. So we'll be looking for things like on the permitting reform side, making sure that things like the one federal decision provisions that we put in the EPW bill are still in there, making sure that categorical exclusions for permitting, that the permitting council is still a major part of it. And because little money goes a lot further when you don't have to take 10 years to do a 2-year job. And those are things that we're looking at, as well as the formula things to make sure that the miles of highway, for example, are accounted for, as well as the population of a particular state. You might understand that. North Dakota has a lot of highways and few people. So there are just a lot of those nuanced things that we're looking very closely at.
So there is definitely some shadiness in this bill. It just has not been found yet. As with all the other big bills, looks like both Democrats and Republicans just kind of sneak things in there to help their constituents, to help their donors, do whatever they have to do to stay in office, which is what all politicians do, unfortunately. So AOC stresses progressive Democrats won't back bipartisan infrastructure bill without $3.5 trillion package. So far, we have the bill text of the bipartisan package, but we do not have the Democrat-only $3.5 trillion package. That is still not yet to be seen, which looks like the bipartisan package will be held up in the House until we get this other part of the package. And this $3.5 trillion package is going to have all of those stimulus provisions in it. Next up is a video clip from Elizabeth Warren talking more about what's next on infrastructure.
We will continue to follow. My question for you, is this bill worth passing without the reconciliation bill?
I see it this way. There is one big infrastructure package. It's going to take multiple votes to get there. One series of those votes is this bipartisan sliver of it. But there is no infrastructure package that is only about roads and bridges. We need so much more in this country. We need child care, universal child care, affordable, available child care. We need to attack the climate crisis head on. We need to make the investments that for 40 years now, we have underinvested as a nation. This is our chance to at least begin to deliver on our promises to the American people. We're going to have to do it in a couple of bites, but both bites will go forward. That's what it means to have an infrastructure package.
Do you think it matters the timing? Do those votes need to happen side by side, or is it possible that that second vote gets pushed into the fall?
No, I think what's going to happen is that we're going to see approval of both parts in what we call this work period in the next week or so. And then we're going to have to go back and put more details in the bigger package, in the package that looks at exactly how we want to structure child care to make sure that it's available for every child across this country, to make sure it's available for every parent across this country, and to make sure that we've built it in a way that raises the wages of every child care worker and preschool teacher in America. So there are a lot of details, just like we're discovering right now on the piece that's still pending that will get the first vote. A lot of details to be worked out, but we're going to get our overall package pushed forward, and that's what matters here. It's one package, multiple votes. We have to get it all done together.
What are your thoughts on what Elizabeth Warren says? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. William Black asks, do you think they will pass the bills to get the similar package to the people by August 15th? Yes or no? My opinion, by August 15th, I think they'll probably get one package done. They'll get the bipartisan done. I don't think they're going to get the reconciliation bill done because that's a much longer process. So to answer your question, both packages no, one package yes by August 15th. But that's my opinion. Tracy Wilkinson, what happened with the UBI? So with the Universal Basic Income, we have that national program bill, which is just stuck in Congress. The House went on vacation. The Senate is about to go on vacation. So that is just going to sit in Congress, collecting some dust until they get back in session. But there is universal basic income programs going on in different counties, cities, and states. I'll cover that in the next video too, because there's new ones coming up every week. Helen Gutierrez asks, why did we have to get the shots if it's not working? 74% had fully and still got vaccine. Then why did we have to get the shots? So that's a good question. I don't have an answer for that. I think they said to begin with that the vaccines were not 100% effective. Next question. Is there a site to look to see if my child tax credit is on its way? Yes, if you go to the IRS, if you type in IRS child tax credit, there is a portal where you could go in and check, put in new information, check and see status, things like that. Anyways, that is all the stimulus updates I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is a tip of the day. I want to tell you one of my favorite secrets. Adults don't know everything. You know, so I don't too. I know I'm really smart, but I don't really know as much things. You don't know as much things, but we're all gonna learn. I promise. If you keep on working every day, I can, and we all can, and we can all be really smart. And we can all be really smart.
Hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching the video, spending some time with me. I do hours of research, kind of sifting through a lot of stuff. Most of it I don't share. I just try to share the most important articles and videos. There's a lot of other fluff that I kind of leave out, so I just give you the essentials of what you need to know. Anyways, if you want to check out any of my other stimulus updates, you could click this link down here or this up here for my other channels, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.